Hi, this is Terry from Ultimate Floor Care. I'm here today with Steve Sweeney from Power Adhesives. Steve's company makes several products for the flooring industry, and he's going to talk to you about those in a few minutes. Steve, thanks a million for inviting me down. It's a real pleasure to see you again. We actually go back quite a long way, Steve and myself. Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about your products?
All right, Terry. Well, this morning we're going to cover something on the NotTech, which is a wood repair system that's really based around a hot melt adhesive system. So we have some special formulations that we can use to repair these different knots and defects in wood, which can be used things like laminate flooring, anything where you're using sort of high quality wood where you're trying to make repairs to it if there's a knot missing or some other sort of damage.
Okay.
The adhesives are very similar to the glue sticks that you use in normal glue guns,
Right.
but these are high quality polyamide adhesives, which are much tougher, much more heat resistant, and are actually easier to work with in terms of shaping and finishing. And
Okay.
take stains and different sorts of finishes after.
Oh, okay, so they actually take stains.
Yeah, which is important in these applications.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
The other thing that's quite important is the colours in them aren't really solid, they're like a translucent colour. So for instance, a translucent amber is particularly good if we're doing knot repairs in things like pine.
Right.
And equally we do it's difficult to see, but we actually do a solid black colour and a cola colour. And you probably can't
I can just about see there's a slight
so
difference.
I'm not sure if you can see it on the film or not, but the cola is particularly good for actually replicating the darker knots in some of these materials. This is a piece of walnut here, and you probably there's a big repair in this piece of walnut, but it's actually virtually visible. It looks like the real wood itself.
Yeah.
So very useful products. Of course, the advantage of hot melts is once they're used, they set very quickly,
Right.
so you don't lose any time. But we have a specialist kit, and with a couple of different versions, sort of different price points. One for both of them are really professional kits,
Right.
You know, for people that want to use this regularly. But the one with the bigger tool is actually if you put in much bigger volumes of adhesive in these knots, whereas the small tool actually cope with most small repairs. If you're doing great big cracks or doing a lot of them.
So probably for what we're using, which is obviously in the wood flooring industry, we're doing this kind of stuff. That's not a huge volume of glue by your standards anyway.
No. It's be very good. But the kit's actually quite comprehensive, and there's some different bits and pieces in it. So it comes in a professional case, which we open here, which enables you to throw it in the back of the van, and actually when you pick it up you've got everything there. It comes with one of the two glue guns, either the bigger tool, which is, as I say, for the bigger volumes, or the smaller tool that also fits quite well in that case. Okay. Right, so there's one or two tools in there. It comes with a couple of packs of adhesive. It comes with a multi-pack of the different NotTech sticks, which is 6 different colours in all. So there's a light cream, there's a light and a dark ochre colour.
Right.
There's the black, there's the cola, and there's the amber.
Okay.
So there's 6 different colours there, and then you pack there's 2 of each stick. So, and then later on, if you need to reorder the sticks, you can buy single packs of any particular colour, or you can buy larger boxes.
All right, okay. They will be on our website. The most common colours for what we're doing will actually be on our website.
Okay. Sticks are kept in a foil pack because the polyamide adhesive can absorb a little bit of moisture from the atmosphere, so it's important the sticks are kept.
So once you've used them, make sure that you kind of fold over the top again and keep them as sealed as you can.
Yeah, well the pack has a resealable zip on there, so you actually tear the top of the pack off, but then it has a resealable grip in there to keep them dry. And there's some silica gel in there to make sure that's right. It's not the end of the world if they get moisture in them and you get a little bit of bubbling coming out of the gun. You can dry them out yourself. About 70 degrees in a conventional oven for probably 10 to 12 hours. So you just have to dry them like that.
Okay.
In the kit as well, I'll come back to these clear sticks in a minute. In the kit as well, you've got a non-stick pad so that you can put it near the glue gun, and then if you get any dripping, it protects the surfaces you're working on. Very handy. You also get these heatsink blocks. so that actually, oops, excuse me, actually when you fill a knot, you can actually place this on the adhesive, and you push the adhesive into the repair and you flatten the surface so that it actually gives you a almost finished repair just with the block.
And it's kind of pushing the glue right down into...
Pushes the glue into all the cracks,
Yeah.
it gives you the best possible bond, and then the aluminium takes the heat out of the adhesive very quickly. So we two of those, and that actually enables you to do a repair on the corner. So if there was some damage on the end of the table here, you can put a block here, you can put the adhesive in there, and then you can put the block on top like that. And so two of those. We also have something here which we then use for trimming the tool off, and this is called a mouse plane. Now this is what's also known in the trade as a surface plane, so a flush surface plane. So it'll actually, as you take the blade off, it will actually sit flat on the surface, it will work right up against a tight edge, and we call it a mouse plane because it looks a little bit like a mouse. See, and we've even, for make it a little bit more interesting, we've even made it look like a mouse.
Very good, very good.
Incidentally, the little bit of blade cover here, we call this a bit of cheese the mouse is using. And when you're not using it, you can actually put it in there so you don't lose it.
Okay.
Even if you do lose it, which people still do, you can unscrew the blade here and spin it round and screw it back in so it's actually protected.
Okay. I've actually used this quite a lot. I mean, I have a knot tech kit at home, which I use for everything, but the mouse plane, since I've had it, has come out for all sorts of things, getting into places you just cannot get in a conventional plane, and you don't always want to get a chisel out. So they are actually sold separately on the website as well, the mouse planes for those.
And you get spare blades for them. One of the things we did when we designed this, and this is we specified a very high quality steel on this.
Yeah.
So many tools these days are poor quality.
I agree, because I've actually had to sharpen that, and I couldn't believe how good an edge I got back on it.
And we were very, very strict in terms of the specification on this, so that it will hold a good edge, and you can use an oil stone and get the edge back again.
Okay.
So although we sell spare blades, frankly, if you know what you're doing, you should be able to
would
sharpen
never-
it.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
need that many.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the kit comes with the mouse plane that lives in here somewhere. And as I said, it's everything you need to do repairs. So we'll just put that back quickly. But I did mention we've got some clear glue sticks in here, and I can hear everyone sighing. Clear glue sticks. Everyone's had a bad experience where they bought the
cheap guns.
Bought the low-cost gun with some low-cost sticks, and really, they're not much good for anything.
Yeah.
Now, part of the problem is the society we live in. We sort of everything's sold on price, and the big sheds tend to downspec and spec things here. So, as a manufacturer, an adhesive manufacturer, and we actually make all the adhesives here in the UK for these products. We have a new adhesive, which is an acrylic adhesive. Okay. This is very different to normal hot melts. These sticks can stick to things like concrete, they can stick to metals.
Right.
They're used in the carpet industry for sticking gripper down.
So that's very important there. That's when Steve was talking to me earlier on. These are brilliant if you're doing gripper rod and you need to get that gripper rod down quick, and you cannot nail for a surface that can't be nailed.
No. Well, there's, as you say, concrete or loose surface on the concrete. It can crumble when you're trying to nail it. But also if you're working underneath a radiator, or where you actually can't swing a hammer.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. A lot of the other adhesive systems, you have to glue down and come back the next day. Of course, with these hot melt systems, you can put the gripper rod down and really be tensioning the carpet within 10 minutes. Very, very fast. But interestingly enough, an application that we've been doing more recently is, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but this is a piece of laminate flooring. Now, one of our distributors discovered this when they were using a knot tech for actually doing repairs on laminate flooring. But sometimes, if a laminate floor is laid on an uneven surface, you get a bit of spring or a little bit of bounce in the floor, and that can cause it to creak. And generally, it's quite hard to fix if it's in the middle of the floor. So what we're able to do with these TapFix 48 and the glue guns, which we can actually drill a small hole in the floor, typically about 2 or 3 millimetres.
Okay.
We have a special long, thin nozzle that goes on the glue gun, and the glue gun then passes through the floor and can inject adhesive through the floor and underneath. Now, it's quite difficult to see. We've actually machined the section out to try and replicate this, but it then forms a soft pad under the floor that takes up that void.
Okay.
And if it's a small void, you might get away with 1 or 2 holes, which you can then fill up. You probably, this actually has a hole here. It's difficult to see because we filled it with Knot-Tec. You may just be able to see that on the film. But if you drill them in the right places, they almost look like a knot or a nail hole.
Yeah.
That is, so it actually doesn't detract from the flooring
Yeah.
in a way.
Good idea.
But equally, it works on quite big areas, and you can drill a series of holes, perhaps every, 200 millimetres apart, that sort of distance, and then actually pack the floor all the way out.
Yeah.
We put a lot of adhesive. We've actually, that's quite a big gap.
It is, yeah.
And really that is perhaps isn't the best reputation. Usually the gaps are a lot thinner than that. But this adhesive has a particularly long open time and flows particularly well, so it keeps flowing through these small gaps. Yeah. And then once it's there, and it still allows the floor to move because usually the substrate underneath there, it hasn't actually bonded the floor to the surface.
Yeah, that's very important with these type of floors. They're obviously designed to be floating floors. They're not meant to be glued down, so you can't use it as a glue, which you can use in that one.
And it is packed. And it does work very well. But as I say, we do have a special narrow nozzle that allows you to drill a very small hole.
Yeah.
That you then and then it allows the adhesive to spread out underneath.
Okay.
So it's a good system. We're selling it in many countries over the world. We've got some big users, we've got some small users, but it's a problem solver.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, as I said before, Steve and I go back an awful long way, but I didn't realise he was doing these products. And once we started talking, and he was telling me about what they did, and I realised the applications for the flooring industry. That was the point that I started getting very excited. And after about 30 years, we started talking to one another again quite a bit. So I think these are a genuine problem solver for not just the wood flooring industry, but also the carpet industry, which I actually only learned today. So they're on the website, guys. If anyone's interested, they're there, along with a selection of the sticks. We're always on the phone if you want to talk to us. Listen, Steve, thanks a million for meeting me today. It's a real pleasure. Real pleasure. Maybe we'll get a smaller table next time.
I think so. And less than the 30 years.
Yes, that's great.
All right.
Okay, thanks a million.
Yeah.